This video, we're going to be fixing the meat wagon. It's wider. That'll come into play shortly. Last hunting trip coming out. We're heading out, and well, I was just really bored. I was like, why am I so bored? And I figured out we're going much slower than we used to go. So I got on the rest of the group and said, hey, I'm going to be cruising faster, because we used to go through there pulling not only this meat wagon, but got a much larger one. Used to pull with a Honda 400. And you had to basically go as fast as you could, everywhere you could, in order to get up and down these hills and over the rocks, because with the weight of it and the four-wheeler, and there's actually a couple of hills I had to be pushed up because the four-wheeler just spin, not enough, traction on the ground to pull it up. So we used to cruise through there really fast. And so I got past the group, and my buddy's like, hey, if you wreck it, I'm not helping you. I was like, well, it's gonna be fine. I used to do this all the time. So then it's cruising out. I got a 1000cc side-by-side now pulling it, so cruises a bit faster, and it's wider. That'll come into play shortly. But just cruise along out, everything's going fine, and then there's this one dip where you come down a hill and up a hill, and it was kind of banked, and you go around the outside, and there's a pointy rock, probably a foot tall, that basically just looks like a rounded point, or like half of an egg sticking out. And with the tires that were on here before, I swapped these over with spacers, because the spacers were on here for the other tires, but they were wider tires, but they were still actually in tighter than these ones. And I left the spacers on with these ones because it actually protects the cap on the end from getting knocked off by rocks, like used to happen when I had these tires on it without the spacers. But anyways, I'm in the side-by-side, I hit that hill, I'm like, oh yeah, this hill is a bunch of fun. So I go flying down it, flying back up the other side, and just I get to the top, all of a sudden go, oh yeah, this is wider. I don't know if I can make it around that rock, and I managed to weave the side-by-side around the rock, but this tire hit the rock, the whole meat wagon just cartwheeled, and it actually bent this stub, it broke this out here, it was actually bent down. We'll get up a little closer now, so you can see what's going on here. So it actually, broke it there, broke it right here. I gotta clean that part up still, but right now the cable's holding the tongue up. Broke it through there, cracked welds down here, and then it actually bent that stub. So I've got to weld all those cracks up. I've got a new stub and hub to go on it, but I don't know. Got back out, used a ratchet strap, pulled this down as much as I could. It wouldn't get it that tight, but it got it good enough, and got back out to the trailhead. And by the time I got out, because that was bent, here's what's left of the inner bearing. The outer bearing was the only thing keeping it from coming off, but it's slow on a trail. But anyways, yeah, I got it all back on myself. Oh, got to get a new receiver hitch, because from hitting that and cartwheeling, it flattened out the front and ripped this lip off, and so I had to take my axe and actually beat it around the ball so it could get back out. And then to get it off once we got here, I had to, cut it and pry it off. But we'll get a new one of those too. Don't have that yet. I'm just gonna try and get this other portion to fixed. But so that's story time. So now I'm just gonna get the welder out and weld here and here, and I'm actually gonna, since the way it broke out, because I only lightly tacked a lot of this stuff together in places. I just started with an old metal military box, and because the other meat wagon was so heavy, I was trying to make this one as light as possible, and then had an old axle from, I don't even remember what. Or maybe it, I think I just had some U-pipe scrap that I got somewhere and put that welded axle shafts in, don't remember, but I ended up putting this pipe on the bottom. So there was something round to help it ride up over rocks and logs and stuff, because the lip on that other one was getting caught a lot. But you can see it's very light. I mean, it's pretty much all built out of old bed frame and a little bit expanded metal. So you can see the little bed frame notch holes there. So it's pretty light. But alright, let's get it welded up, and then all the cutting it's going to take to get that stub out, because it goes all the way back into here, back into there. So I got to cut that weld off and then try and get back in there and cut the welds that I did around that, because I welded it pretty good. All right. Alright, let's see if it stays. Ooh. Let's tighten that back up. I forgot the other parts I was going to weld. Just right here. Got that all welded up. Now I need to cut this stub out. Okay, let's see if we can get in there a little deeper. All right. Big hammer. Okay. I'll get my brush. Brush. Alright, good enough for Alright, good enough for a meat trailer. Got all the parts laid out, new hub, new bearings. Gotta pack the new bearings. Oh shit. Pretty close to the bottom. There, it got greased. Ooh, hot. Probably let that cool a little more. In the meantime, we'll get seal tapped in. There we go. Actually, we'll leave that in there for the minute. So in case you're curious, the only reason I put grease on here was to see if it was cool enough to go ahead and put the hub on. Because if it just started melting and sizzling off, then it's definitely too hot. I mean, it feels warm to my hand, but whew, still pretty hot. Smear that around so the shaft doesn't push it all out. Come on. There we go. It's a tight fit, probably because it's a little warm. There we go. Where is the cutter keyhole? There it is. Woo! Still pretty warm. almost get it in now. There we go. Apparently the cheap eBay kit seems as though that washer might be too thick. Get the cotter key in. Oh, that's definitely in there. There we go. It's a horrible way to bend a cutter key, but cap on. There we go. Alright, we'll turn the compressor on and build air up to put this hub on. In case anyone doesn't know, this is a torque eliminating extension. So they're being torqued to, let's not do it upside down. Focus. You can kind of see it there. I don't know, maybe I need a better camera. It doesn't want to focus on this. Alright, it won't focus, but it says 80 foot-pounds. And I've got a whole whole kit of them. That's like 65, and that's like 100, 120, 140. So, I don't know. Some people say to use a torque wrench afterwards, but it's a meat wagon. If the tire falls off at 15 miles an hour in the woods, who cares? We'll just put it back on. Alright, well, I guess I just gotta flip this back over And that's it for now. I need to get a hitch to replace that messed up one. And I think I'm going to get one for a 2-inch ball and get the, what's it called? The Bulldog style. It's got a, instead of this little tongue, it has a pivot up here and a side that clamps down with a collar. They're super solid and easy to work with, so I think I'm going to get one of those to put on here. And then I guess till I get that, we're done with the trailer. Check those bearings, they feel a little tight.